university is against any extramarital sexual relations on campus, and that you can be penalized and also have counseling for it if caught, or what have you. So that's pretty archaic.
When I found that out, I went to the Hawk and I said, I think this is something we should shed light on, because it does seem to be contradicting with what the school's saying as being an inclusive university. And when I wrote on that, I got a lot of feedback from people who said that they didn't even know this was in the handbook, they didn't even know how to find it. And when I talked to a university official about it, I had mentioned to him, it's so hard to find this rule. Like, I'm Googling like sex on St. Joe's campus and student handbook and nothing's coming up. And it's so buried beneath all these like different links and redirections that I just think it's makes it a little bit more shaky as a student. And so having that rule hidden beneath links, I just think it furthers this idea of we're gonna hide something from the university and it's about sex and sex is shameful and let's bury it beneath all these links and let's not talk about it.
I think it was 58% of women who use birth control do it in conjunction, not just for birth control, but also for auxiliary benefits.
I know me and many of my friends were on birth control for other reasons like migraines, cramps, anxiety, all sorts of issues that come with getting your period at that age that you do. So I do not believe that contraceptives is just for preventing pregnancy. And there's also so many diseases that you can get that will ruin your life if you don't practice safe sex. So it's something that everybody needs to be aware of.
Yes, you can have your stances, you can have your religious practices, but I don't think it's right to force those on students who, some of which aren't following that practice in general. The primary role of higher education is to educate students and to provide them with the care that they need to get the best education that they need.
And as someone who doesn't identify as not as Catholic but as having a close relationship with God, and having that kind of identification, I think it creates like a stifling effect when you look in the handbook because you're not sure. It's like you feel a sense of a lack of inclusion maybe, and this separation that doesn't really include everybody. If you're saying that you're welcoming, then you should be in all facets. I think it's tough when you sit in a room with somebody and you try to understand their point of view and you say the words, I understand religiously speaking where you're coming from, and to not receive that back is a really tough conversation to have.
I think anyone who's denying that students have sex on campus or are sexually active is just lying to themselves and being delusional. And denying that and not offering the health services that they need is directly causing them harm. So if you want to talk about morality in Catholicism and make that statement, I think that's the most hypocritical thing you can do in this situation.
I'd be surprised if you did not get at least 10 condoms for free your freshman year. It is very easy to obtain them. We're very open about obtaining them, and we promote free condom giveaways, stuff like that.
Everybody knows that if you just go to the health center, they will ask you for your ID, you'll show them, they'll scan it, and you can get really affordable contraceptives and they'll hand it to you in a brown bag. So it's not like you have to walk out with a giant bag of condoms, nobody knows, and it's super easy and cheap.
It's not something that I don't think any of us, at least here on Temple's campus, think about. It's so normalized and so, promoted to keep yourself protected that it's nothing we think about.
And drafting up a resolution requesting that the administration enact 3 things within a year's time. One was reassessing the handbook and the university council's sexual activity policy that was passed in 1992. Another was reassessing what we have on campus, looking at how it can be changed, looking at access, and also putting out some sort of transparent sexual health education campaign. Also looking at the new student orientation program and working it into that. And then the third part was having some sort of university-wide announcement about this campaign, because I don't think it's enough just to do it and maybe hide it to a degree in case you ruffle the feathers of alumni who you're afraid might not donate because in their minds you might be getting away from the more traditional Catholic values of the university. And the Senate passed that resolution unanimously.
Well, I think the one thing the school is great at is allowing us to use our voices. So I think that's a wonderful thing that they do, and it's they don't shut down our newspaper for things that we print. They don't shut down our clubs that are so inclusive and so diverse and so wonderful. So I think there's a lot of leeway, student-wise, that they allow us to do these things and have these conversations, and I think they do that very well.
You know, people make mistakes, and they should not be condemned for being young and making mistakes. And you can prevent those mistakes from happening as an institution if you give them the tools to do so. It's just basic, fundamental, rudimentary knowledge that any institution should have, and it's these basic resources that they're cheap, first of all, for the university to provide, and they do overall good by promoting healthy habits and by keeping students on track with their academics, by preventing these types of instances and harmful scenarios that may occur without them.